Welcome, everybody. Beyond the Boundaries, special Christmas edition here. Missing Nick Kuiper, but we've got Casey in the studio today with us.
Yes, sir.
Nick Kuiper does not keep a schedule.
Yep, he had some other things, had to wrap some presents, so he's not going to be with us. But today we've got a special Christmas-themed episode, so thanks for coming, and let's get started.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. Nick Kuiper has it like all super well done.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he knows his...
I think that I'm just supposed to introduce myself. Zak Allen, owner of Dream Team, dad and husband,
investor.
special needs,
Slightism.
Weaponized.
weaponized.
Oh, yeah. Well, why don't you walk us through how you got into real estate to start with? Because I know there's a lot of people out there struggling. They don't like their job.
Yep.
They were probably in the same boat you were in. So walk us through that, like, couple years.
Cool. So I was going to college to get my master's or doctorate. I hadn't decided because it was only my first and a half year at the time, and I was going to get that in psychology. My dad does that. I was going to open up my own practice. That was kind of like my dream, was to just kind of do my own thing. Because, I did music for a while. My senior year, I was a really good baseball player. I probably would have played somewhere. I don't know where, but I would have loved to keep pursuing that. I was throwing in the 80s my junior year before I got into the weight room. So my senior year, I think I just got I got really strong the summer of my junior year. It would have been really cool to see like what I could have done with all that and just keep getting bigger and stronger. But then the doctor said I had a brain tumor. That's another story for another day. But anyways, long story short, that ended up being okay. Then I got into music. I always had an affiliation for music, as I taught myself when I was 13. So we didn't get like signed to a label, but it was like to a management company, the same management company that Invent Animate was on at the time, and they're like a huge band now. So that's it was like the peak of that. But then I just, I got a girlfriend at the time, and I was just like, it was pretty serious. And I was like probably like 19 or 20, and I just decided like, listen, dude, like, even though we didn't work out or whatever, because obviously I'm married with kids to another lady, but I didn't want to live in a van. It just didn't sound nice, like at that time I had no plans of being like wealthy per se, but I just didn't want to live in a van. So I just worked for a while after that, and then just trying to get my shit together. And then I just decided, okay, listen, like, I started reading some books and really like, figuring myself out and, like who I wanted to be. So psychology sounded really good to me, and I was like, I'll just start with my AA and I'll figure it out from there. So I was just like washing dishes at Costa Vida. And then I met my wife, and I fell in love with her like right away. And especially after my last breakup, I was like, okay, that could be interesting. But then, yeah, she was older than me. She had a college degree already, and she was established. So I had to get my shit together to be with her, and she wanted kids. So, there's a lot of growing pains there. So I had to kind of like get my shit together. But then it was kind of like, okay, if I go to school for another 6 years, I'll be like now and graduated. I was like 30, 31. And I was like, shit. She doesn't really want to start her life and start having kids at 34. I don't blame her. Like, like being an old mom's dope, but she just didn't want to do that, So I respected it. So I got to like figure out my hustle. So I was like, okay, well, I've never really been in sales. I think one time I worked at Verizon and I got like fired because I was not good. So I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do, but maybe I'll just drop out of school and I'll just try to sell cars. And so, I just started doing that, and then I sold like 65 cars in like 4 months. And I was like, holy shit, dude, I'm good at this. And then during, a little bit before that, I started meeting some like entrepreneurs, and they just started getting my mind thinking differently. And I've always, my whole life, been very accepting of other people. Obviously, look at my team. And I would say not only was I very accepting of other people, but I was very open-minded. So I've lived a lot of different lives where, I'm a nerd, but I'm also like, really good athlete, just so musician. So I've always been able just to, kind of, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. And then if I can put my mind to it, I can do it, and I go all in. And then I can just, like whatever. From there, I can be a chameleon and fit in with people. So So when I was meeting these entrepreneurs, I was just so open-minded, and they just started getting me thinking differently. And I remember like my first coach, I ever had, who, I was just pursuing mentorship really. And he was like, I remember the first thing he said to me, he's like, "You're a shitty husband." And I was just like, damn, this guy's not fucking around. And so like I had like militant entrepreneur training, so that's probably why I'm so intense, because I just had people, just say it straight to me and get straight to the point and make me super effective and move quick. So yeah, just always open to that. And then I just saw how important it was, especially because I've had coaches my whole life and understood what it was kind of like to I guess, be coached or mentored or, submit to someone and let them have control, of me, whether it's like I'm a point guard and they put me in a system, or I'm a pitcher and they, they're helping me control the game and call a game, or, whatever. So that made sense to me. So yeah, I just started opening my mind. And so I got some money saved up and I started real estate. Like 5 years ago, dude. And then from there, I just was like, okay, well, I'll make like 60 grand a year. I'll provide a decent enough life, because that's like what my mom and my dad made. I'll make 60 grand a year, and my wife will make 56 grand a year, and we'll have a few kids or whatever, and have a nice house with a picket fence. And then I got in, I was doing Lyft and Uber, and oh God, I hated it. I hated it. I ran out of all my money. I only had like 5 grand saved, and ran out of all my money, and cried a lot because I couldn't do anything. I didn't sell shit for 6 months. I left my first brokerage in like a month because of drama, and then went to another place, started figuring it out, sold 25 houses in 6 months, made like 100 grand. And I said, oh my God. And from there, it just changed, it changed my life.
Oh, it's wild. What do you think it was from the first brokerage to the second brokerage that like really helped you make that?
I think
jump?
it was just like Melissa Murphy to me is like female Keith, dude. So when I was around her, she's just a beast. So it was like probably my first time being that close to someone who's like sells 20, 30 million a year, has like 3 degrees and teaches at Gonzaga and is like super connected to the community and has all these rentals and all these things. And I was just like, this chick's cool, man. And so, being around her, or, hearing her say stuff like, wow, no one's ever really outsold me before. You beat me this month. I was like, whoa. And so like just stuff like that would, like it just kept me going, so, like obviously the athlete in me, is just always used to like, getting my balls kicked in and just keep on going. So that helped. But, yeah, she just really encouraged me when I started.
Nice. Once you kind of broke away, because obviously you're not with Melissa Murphy anymore, what was it that kind of sparked you to start the Dream Team?
Yeah, so I really just wanted to be at like 100% commission, and I tried to pay my cap that year, but that's just that wasn't in her system. So I was like, okay, well, so like that's where it started, right? It was like, okay, I understand like why I'd be on a team, because like I don't really want to do it myself, but I think at the time I had like 50, 60 grand saved, which was insane to me because the most money I ever had was like 8 grand. So I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. So, funny now that I think 50 grand is like peasant money. Like, I'd be like, oh, God, I only have 50,000. I'm going to die. Like, I'd be stressed out, right? I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm like one emergency away from being broke, So that would stress me out now. But in the time, dude, I have like $50,000 of bills a month. I just realized that. Anyways, and then, but anyways, yeah, so, where was I? Oh yeah, being on a team, it's like, I get it. I didn't really want to be the guy. I didn't really want to, be in charge. And I understood like, oh God, they, like, they're selling real estate and like, okay, I can make 100, 200 grand a year. And then there's like, oh fuck, like I got to buy the systems and I got to like teach people shit, but I like wanted to lead, but I'd be like, man, if I could just like use their shit to like lead, that'd be great, because I have no headache, right? And I didn't want the headache. So I went and interviewed at Keller Williams, and a few of the guys there were like, hey man, like, Because at the time, man, like I never looked at stats, and like people could say I'm full of shit. I don't really give a shit. But like you could ask Kyle. I don't even know how to fucking look numbers up in the MLS. I have to call him and ask him how to do it because I didn't give a shit. So like like I was in all these like top things, and all these people would be like sending me pictures, be like, look, bro, you're like number 1 in Spokane on buyer sides, and I was just like, okay, I don't care. I'm just rocking, just leave me alone, dude. So like I just never got that stuff because I just like wasn't competing with anybody, or I didn't care about the notoriety, dude. I just wanted to make money and have sex with my wife, to be honest with you. Like that's what I wanted to do, and hang out with my friends. Like and make music and just like make jokes. Like that's what I wanted to do. I don't care about all this shit and buy cool cars or something, like that's all I wanted to do at the time. So like anyways, so I went to Keller Williams, and then a few of the guys were like, yeah, you can negotiate. And I went in there, and they're like, oh, you can't negotiate. So I was like, oh, okay. And then, a few of the guys, like, I remember one of the guys, like, told me, like, I had an idea of, like, what I wanted to do for the team. And then I remember one of the guys, like, oh, you'll never do that. And, like, you can't sustain that. That's unsustainable. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to recruit me. And then, but what it was probably like getting my system and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay. And then so I actually literally was signing up at Keller Williams. I left all my shit on the fucking screen, including my social security number, and I walked out and I said, nah. And then I went and got recruited by a guy named Nate Brown at the time. He was at a different brokerage, and that's where we ended up going. And that was 100% brokerage. And then, that's kind of, and it's like I never really wanted to start. I mean, you could ask Jerry, I guess, when that happened, but I wanted like a team, but I was like, oh, I have like a few of my friends, but also like, I think I just started winning and posting it online. And then, I had people being like, oh, like, can you teach me how to do this? Are we recording? Yeah. Oh, I was like, praise God. I was like, but I think I just had some friends that were just like, teach me how to do this. And then so it almost was like, okay, I have this idea kind of that I want to do something, but then I had all these friends starting to be like, can you teach me how? Like, I see you doing this online. I really want to do something. So,
yeah, I actually was just about to ask something along those lines. Like, at what point between, being with Melissa Murphy to like trying to negotiate, ending up deciding to maybe go seek out a different brokerage. At what point did what we call like the OGs? At what point did they start to hit you up? Because I remember when I hit you up was I guess around the time that you were trying to go into Keller Williams because you hadn't done a PRS.
Yeah. It was like a year and 3 months into it probably, and so dude, like what it was Dustin was the first person to hit me up. So I used to run these Facebook ads. I met a guy out of Canada, and that's really how I started. I was doing Facebook ads before anyone else was. And, I mean, SAR was like, what are you doing? You're doing pocket listings. And I was like, motherfucker, I don't even know what a pocket listing is, man. I'm just running some click ads, bro. And then, and it was funny because it's the same way Keith started, right? He was doing Craigslist stuff. And then we're all like, what are you doing? Do you have pocket listings, Keith Riddle? I just got started doing that. And then Dustin actually clicked on one of my ads, and he was like, this seems like it's really working for you. Can I just pick your brain? And then I was just like, got with him, and he was just like, kind of like, yeah, dude, like, you're a smart guy. We should work together. And I was like, oh, okay. That sounds cool. And then at that same time, Nick Kuiper was kind of hitting me up being like, but of course, Dustin at first, when we first met, he was all thinking about it all the time, and he was a Fred Meyer manager. Loser. And then, just kidding. We need people like that. He's just a loser himself. And then Nick Kuiper was like, hey, bro, hit me up for a car reference lot. I want to start making more money. And, I used to know him from Freeman, and I went to Victory Faith. So he, and his buddy got me to, like, believe in God and stuff and, like, go to church. So, and then I was like, why are you going to do a car lot? I just did that. I just made $100,000 in real estate in a year in 6 months. You should just fucking hit me up and let's do this. I'll buy your course. And he was like, okay. And so, those were my first two people. So, yep.
And then I don't know if I've ever actually heard the story about like how Nick Michelle got in touch with you?
Yeah, a former agent used to work together at a car lot together, and then he introduced me, and then he met me at my house one day, and I was just like, well, you dress nice, you have a good attitude, you seem like you work hard, and you know how Nick is. He came in there just like, we're ready to fucking work, you know? So I was just like, oh, okay, like, you have a shot at this. This is nice. Yeah, this is good. So, yeah.
And then there's me.
Then
showing up to a coffee appointment. I just get absolutely shit on.
Yeah, you should say that. You should tell that story for the podcast. It's a good one.
So I, like you said, saw a bunch of posts by him, and I think your rule used to be like I post 3 times a day, no matter what.
Yeah.
So with the algorithm, how it is on Facebook, the more you post, the more you show up, obviously.
Yeah.
And so, I was seeing like bought a house, never thought I'd do this, bought my dream car, never thought that'd be possible.
Yep.
Sold this house, helped these buyers.
You got to think at the time, I literally went from like fucking Costa Vida car man to like making $100,000 in 6 months. I was like, what?
And we had like known each other from middle school baseball and just sort of
7th grade, baby.
Stayed Facebook friends, but hadn't really interacted outside of like a random like local music show here or there.
Yep.
And so I just hit you up one day and was like, how are you doing what you're doing?
Yep.
And then you basically were like, let's get coffee. You didn't even answer my question. You just said, let's get coffee this time, this
Such a
place.
Zach
Well, you
thing
got
to say.
you got to understand too, as that journey, I was on my journey. So like when people asked me that, I knew what was happening. You know, so I was just like, okay, let's just go get coffee.
Yeah. Clear to me now that
cut the bullshit. Let's just
exactly.
meet.
Yep. Yeah. Clear to me now that you were just like, pick a day. I picked a day, and then you're like, pick a morning or afternoon. And I picked like a morning, I think, and you're like, all right, 9 a.m. I was like, all right, cool. So I show up, and I don't remember exactly like what I was wearing, but I at that time hadn't embraced the fact that I was bald.
It's true.
So like long hair, because if you're balding, anybody.
Hey,
who
let's
might
pause
be,
that and look at Tyson's fucking bald spot on top of his head.
Oh,
I sent it to Marissa. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
It's starting.
Bro, he is going bald.
Yeah, it's starting.
Are we gonna shave his head this year?
I mean, we did it last year.
We'll wait till next year.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyone who actually knows in their heart that they are bald or balding, they refuse to cut their hair because they are afraid it won't grow back, which is where I was. Black fingernail polish, working at a weed farm. I show up, he looks at me and is just like, "Are you high?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, you smell like weed. Like it's bad." And he's like, I can't even breathe. Like you're giving me a headache just being in here.
That's
And
great.
I just said that.
yeah, so he's like, well, what do you want? What do you want to know? And I had never. I mean, now I just know that like that's who you are, and you were in like
I was in my
the busiest time of your
I was
career.
just in like like dude, when I do business, I'm like a war hawk, dude. I'm ready. I'm in work mode.
Yep.
Right. I think it's very rare. Like people, you guys are people who've seen me like outside of that.
Yeah.
Not very many.
But-
I don't think very many people see. Like Ellie came here one day, and sorry, we'll get back to you. And it's just I'm gonna forget this. Ellie, I was literally just in my blanket, bro, chilling, watching football, and her and my wife were doing something. I think she was helping us paint this fireplace, and Ellie literally was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You're just really chill." I'm like, "Yeah, this is like what I do." She's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm just like, "This is who I am, dude. I'm just fucking chilling. Like, what do you want from me?"
Yeah, why are you attacking me? I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just hanging out at
She's
home.
like, "I've never seen you like this." I'm like, "Well, fuck you. The Seahawks are on. Leave me alone. Go paint the fucking fireplace."
Yeah, I am currently not working.
currently
You are.
comfy.
Go back to work.
Yep, I'm currently comfy as fuck.
Yeah, you're here to help us with the fireplace because, baby, fuck you. Go paint. Bitch, leave me alone.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that like the last time I had seen you was like long hair, mullet, band guy, jumping in the crowd,
Yep.
punching people, singing. So then to walk in and you're like business dressed, straight to the point.
Was he bald yet?
I think we were kind of like doing the like shortcut. It was
Yeah, I was probably
almost
at
bald.
I was probably at a 1.
It was all pretty much what his chin and beard looks like, but on the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't quite there yet, but it was close. And yeah, I had never I had never experienced him like that. So then immediately I was like, oh, well, something clearly has changed. And then he was just asking me questions, letting me talk. And, yeah, it was the first time I had anybody that I, like, in my life that I actually could tell was doing better and doing things that, like, had things that I wanted, that also was just not trying, like...
Brutally honest?
Yeah, brutally honest.
I'm not trying to just tell you things to, like, get something out of it.
It wasn't a pep talk, and you weren't selling me anything. And you had no skin in the game to
just hardcore truth.
Lie. Yeah.
Just straight real.
Yeah, and he literally, like, first thing, just like, I thought I was just going to be like, hey, buddy, how's it going? What's up? How you been? And it was just like, you smell like weed. It's awful. You have black painted fingernails.
Your
That's
car's
fucking
shit.
gay. Your car sucks. It's broken down. You got to get a new car. You work at a weed farm. That's fucking dumb. You shouldn't be doing that. You're bald. And I was like, and he's like, how much money do you have saved up? And I was like, well, I had like I had a little bit of money saved up, but I bought a bunch of art. And he just went, you bought what? And I was like, I bought art, like, you know, really cool art that I like. And he goes, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's the worst investment of all time. That's a waste of money. And I was like, in my heart, I was like, you're kind of right. But in my mind, I was like, well, fuck you. But then I was like, well, if he's willing to just say that so blunt, then clearly in his mind, he has other things that money could have been spent on.
Well, again, I could have communicated it better. But at the time, I was like 25. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, you were in like what I realized now is just
mode,
you were in that flow state where like you're just doing the things you do every day without even thinking about it because you become so unconsciously competent at it.
Yeah. As soon as I heard that, it hurt me because I was like, "Fuck, dude, you needed that for this."
Yep.
You know, it's like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah.
So I was
well,
like,
everyone around me was just like weed farm people, which I have some of the friends that I worked with then I still have, and I love them, and they're great people. But none of us work there anymore. But the vast majority of the people who worked there were like soul crushed. And so they would just complain about their life and then tell you at the same time that, but like everybody would complain and then everyone would affirm everyone else's complaints.
Yeah, it was like a circle jerk of mediocrity.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they all knew probably in their heart that they should be doing something better or could be doing something better, but then they never did anything, so then they'd make each other feel better that they didn't do anything by saying it was okay.
Well, the best analogy I've ever heard is what my first coaches would call the job world, and they was like, you ever see a bunch of crabs in a bucket? And I was like, okay, I can imagine that. Okay, imagine a bunch of crabs in the bucket. Now imagine trying to be a crab that's like, I want to get out of the bucket, and then everyone's pulling you down. And I'm like, whoa, that's a really good analogy. And he goes, well, that's like what it's like to be in society and work in the job world. And then I was like, whoa, that hit for me. And then he's like, now imagine you somehow get out of the bucket, you fall out. What are you looking at? I'm like, I don't know. He goes, so imagine you're like in this white room, there's just white everywhere, and there's this bucket, and it's just you in the bucket. And he's like, you're just in this freedom. You're in this, anything's possible. You're just in a blank white room. You can draw anything. You can do anything. Anything you want is possible. And in that bucket, they're just all in the rat race pulling each other down. And he's like, do you want to be in that or do you want to be the crab outside the bucket? And I said, whoa, I want to be the crab outside the bucket.
Yeah, that's powerful.
The same guy told me, don't do what you love, do what works. And then if you do what works well, you'll have time to do what you love. And yeah, that hit with me too. So those are some of the best things that anyone's ever told me. And so it just reminds me of that is, you know, a lot of people that just work in that job world, they complain, they do the same thing every day, they're not chasing their dreams. And I'm like, fuck, man, I just can't live that life.
Yeah. And the more that we talk about this story and that kind of thing, the more I realize that the people who are in the job world, but they see what Dream Team is doing, and then they ask like, they hit you up and want to like learn and get their license and do whatever.
Yeah.
And then they show up and if you give them like it's okay, you can do what you want to do. Like, it's going to be all right. You really are just being a crab in the bucket for them.
Yeah, exactly.
But what you did was, but if they can be like me or like Nick Kuiper or whatever, like you got to have a harsh truth, but if you can accept that and realize that it's not just to make you like
look at
feel shitty.
Look at who's around.
You can get out of that job world.
Look at who's around and then who's doing well. Like, I guess the three that stick out in my mind are like Alejandro, Justin, and Evan.
Yep.
I've had to have a lot of hard conversations with those guys, you know. Casey joining. I've had a lot of really hard conversations with Casey. Because it's just like, this is serious, bro. This isn't just like, oh, yeah, okay, ha ha ha. This is like, no, motherfucker, you're gonna die. This is serious. You know, it's like literally
life or death.
It's life or death to me, because it's like, okay, like we might not be the answer for everybody, but we have some people over here that believe in a universal truth of hard work and a certain mindset. That certain mindset is to get out of the job world, crush it, and we have literal fruit on the tree of like 10, 15 OGs who have done that, who all make like 60 to 100,000 plus. So it's like the fruit's on the tree. This is like the mechanism is here. So it's like you can either enter the mechanism, or you can kind of like flirt the line, toe the line, and Zach said something to me and it was really mean, and now I'm gonna go be a barista, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. Someone hurt my feelings. I'm gonna go get a job now.
Well, yeah, it's like okay. Well, and again, to me, like, you know, and it's always been a struggle, right? Because like I'll have a lot of people that have always approached me and like, Zach, you gotta be careful. That's rude. How do you think that looks to other people? And then I'm just like, well, I don't give a fuck. Like, we're like, a person that gets mad at that should be working a job. They should not be here. Like, someone who wants to win and change their life and build generational wealth and do something and run a big company, they will hear that and go, oh, yeah, like Jerry or you. And they'll go, oh, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Cool.
And like I had worked in construction a little bit before too. So I mean, anybody who's worked any like manual labor jobs,
sucks.
yeah, it sucks. But all the guys and girls there that are working hard and have a trade or a craft or whatever they're doing, if you you can't be sensitive. You can't worry about being rude. It's literally the most like meat grinder.
See, I think you can be sensitive, but it's like if you're in.
If someone's like, move that shit now, and you're like, that's mean, they're gonna be like, get the fuck off my job site.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So to me, it's always like intent of heart, and so for me, intent of heart means this. It means, okay, wow, Rocco's bark is really loud. Intent of heart means this to me, it's like if Casey makes a joke, okay, and it hurts my feelings. Rocco, shut the fuck up! Jesus Christ. So
we should clip that part and put that at the beginning of one of your songs.
Yeah, that would be dope.
That would be so funny.
That you should actually clip that. But to me, it's always about intent of heart. Notice how he shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. He listened to me. He listened to me. But to me, it's always about intent. So it's like if Casey makes a joke, okay, so it's like then it comes to this. Okay, I trust him, I love him, and I know him. So that's up to me. So I go, okay, so he said something mean. He made a joke about my daughter. I'm going to run over your daughter with my truck. Okay, cool. That's really crazy. But if he's just trying to say something crazy as fuck to get a rise out of me, so it's like, it starts with like, okay, how do I know and trust this person? Okay, wow, that joke should offend me. 100 out of 101 people would be offended at that. But it's like, I know, trust, and love Casey, and he's just trying to say something so crazy to get a rise out of me and just try to get me to laugh. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to threaten your child. He's just like saying like, oh, I'm just going to like, he's just saying something stupid to get a rise out of me. So it's the same thing with like this shit, right? Like mentorship. It's like, okay, if you're in an arena and all these people, there's this catalog of all these people who are winning, who have gotten opportunity and have gotten chances, and they're just there's fruit on the tree, and then you come into this thing and you're like, wow, what Zach or Jerry said to me was so hurtful, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm like, dude, it has nothing to. It's like you're just not like you're just going to amount to nothing. God bless. I'm sorry, but it's like you're just never going to do anything.
If that's enough to break your spirit of like, I want to do this, I want to change my life, and then someone is like, you smell bad, and then that's enough to break you and send you back. Like, you wouldn't have made it even if someone hadn't said that. You wouldn't have been able to make it.
Yeah, of course.
Because the first thing that you don't like folds you.
Yeah.
Like, that's not.
Well, look at Casey, bro. He literally died, almost went bankrupt, and then finished his flip and figured it out. Like, the me telling you to get your shit together, or Jerry calling you and saying, do your fucking paperwork right, dumbass. I mean, okay, cool. If you can't handle that, bro, you're fucked. Like, not only in this, good luck living 30 years.
Yep.
And God bless you. Maybe you'll figure it out when you're 40.
Yeah, it reminds me of the mentality like when people watch like sports and they see two teammates like arguing on the sidelines and they're like, "Oh, that's how dare you yell at your player?" It's like, bro, these are people competing at the highest level and they want to win and they want each other to do well. And sometimes you need Tom. It's like Tom Brady sometimes needs to yell at his linemen to block, and then they go on the next drive and they score a touchdown and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And all the people on Facebook, the little bots, are angry that Tom Brady yelled at someone.
I can't believe he would say that, dude. It's
How
like,
dare
shut the
he?
fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no one.
But
that's
then-
how you have to communicate at a high level.
Exactly.
Yeah, winners just win, bro. Like, they just win, and they're like, the last thing that I'm thinking about when I go to bed is like, did Casey say this to me the correct way?
Yeah.
I'm just like, what do I need to do?
Yep.
I
Because
just want to win.
whether he intended to or not, you know.
If it's ethical,
Doesn't-
I just want to win. And so, like, you know, Kobe's grinding, he's working hard, he's in the gym at 5, you know, and then like you've heard Jordan, you've heard all these guys that interview, they're like, dude, they were fucking mean. And I don't even think that I'm that bad, but I'm just saying, like, they're mean, you know, but like their teammates love playing for them. Or just like Dream Team, they'd get people in and you'd be like, dude, we have to trade this fucking guy away. He can't even handle Kobe Bryant. Like, you know, he's like out there yelling at his teammates and pushing them to be better, and this guy can't handle it, so he needs to go. And so it's the same thing as Dream Team. You know, it's like, you know, I don't think we're that intense, but it's just like, dude, if you want to come here and win, we're going to win.
Yeah.
But if you can't handle the heat, get the fuck out of the kitchen.
And I think a lot of times people who aren't expecting it or aren't prepared for it or, you know, aren't mentally strong enough to handle it, they conflate someone being stern or like honest, brutally honest with them as being verbally like abused.
Yeah.
Where we're like, hey,
Yeah.
like if I'm like, hey, sign your fucking documents so you don't get sued and it doesn't ruin your life. Then they're taking that.
I hear, hey, bro, I'm really trying to have your back. I really respect and love you, and please don't do this again. I take this very seriously. And then a victim would go, oh, wow, that's so mean. I need to run away. I need to go somewhere else. This is really hard. I
need a safe space.
I need a safe space. It's like, damn, bro, you're crazy.
They run back to the job that they hate because they're comfortable there because they know that the other people there are going to be like, oh, it's okay.
They got HR to protect them.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to go complain to HR because the boss said something mean.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up.
Yeah, it's like even on the worst.
Casey's my HR manager.
Yeah.
Even on the worst days, where like in the last 4 years, almost 5 years, even on the worst days, where shit really didn't go my way, or someone really had to be honest with me, and it was like the shittiest day I've had. I still would not trade any of those to go back to working at a fucking job like a pizza place or weed farm or construction. Still would not. Even on the worst days.
You build something up with this with your friends. You create your own job, so that's nice.
Even days where I had a $12,000 commission fall apart the day before closing. I still would not trade that to go back to fucking work a regular job. Not ever.
Yeah. I think just having a regular job, it's that safe, secure, I'm in my safe space. All I have to do is go punch a time clock. If someone really hurts my feelings, then I can go talk to my boss and they'll handle it for me.
Yeah.
But when you're a realtor, you are your employee, you are your own boss, you are your own person. Like, you kind of have to operate in an ecosystem of everybody who is also operating on that same level, and nobody gives a shit about your feelings.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you give them 12 months. You go, okay, well, I'll give you 12 months and see if you're still here, right?
Yep.
Like, Alejandro, Justin, and Evan are still here. Like, and so what happens is, like, you see people and they come here for 12 months, and if they don't have success, they blame you.
Even less than that.
And then they
a lot
usually
of us took
leave
6 months to get anything.
They usually leave and then they phase out. There's only been about 2 or 3 people who have ever left this thing and done pretty well. So it's like it's possible. It's not impossible. Like I said, we're not the answer. We're not God. We're not anything like that. It's just we have the formula, dude. We have the energy. We have the thing. So, yeah. So it's just like, yeah, it's just fun, you know, because it's like I just see people come in and I'm just like, okay, you know, and it's just like then I see the people who actually want it. And so, you know, the people that want it, they'll show you. You don't even have to worry about it. The people that want it will show you.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
What are your top 3 favorite moments since you got into real estate?
Oh, man. Right now, it's just having all these rentals, dude. Like, that shit's crazy. Meeting Keith and having these rentals, I put that in, like, the same thing. And then I think I just think this year, dude, like, just even in the speech I wrote, and it's just cool, dude. You know, I have this background on my phone right now, and it just says, look at you, isn't this what you asked for? And so, yeah, that's what I'm just living that, dude, you know, with all this expansion and just seeing, like, you know, like what I can do, or like, you know, like how I can really help people, or, you know, like living into my truest self and potential. Because, dude, if you look at my career, I've always like hid behind someone that owns a brokerage or has more than me, and I was just always like, oh, I can't do it. Like, I need Keith to lead, and I can be like number 2, and I don't really want to do this, and I don't really want the responsibility. So that's kind of been like my story. You know, I was a top producer. You know, I've sold like 70. I did like 20 million, sold like 70 houses once, and I sold like 200 houses in 4 years. And dude, I mean, shit, most people take 10, 15, 20 years to do that, and I did it in 4. So yeah, it's just been crazy, dude. Like, I've been blessed. God's blessed me, dude. And but yeah, I'd say the top moment would probably be just meeting Keith and getting all these rentals and learning how to do that. The second thing would probably be coming into myself this year. What we've done is just remarkable. And 3, I don't know. I think 3 is still like yet to happen, you know? So like I think I'm just starting. I started 5 years ago, but I feel like I just started this year, because it's just like I finally walked into my potential of just like, I can do this. I'm the guy. I can be this guy. I can be Keith. I can be Brian Casella. I can be the guy. I'm the guy. So I never really had that confidence before, and so I just took a chance and did it, and now I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm doing this across the country. This is insane, and I'm like, dude, the sky's the limit. Like, it's just starting. And so, and it's just like, now it's just, what's the next chapter? Like, my word for next year is energy, dude. Like, what energy can we all bring? You know, like what can you do better next year? What can Casey do to like take our shit to the next level? Or, you know, like, but it's all, again, it's all like sacrifice and buy-in, and then like, cool. Well, we kind of all need to like fully bet on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have to go in on it, and not saying that we are, but there's a different level, because I've had to hit that different level this year. So it's like everyone's got to hit that different level. Ellie's got to hit a level. Christina, Tyson, Dustin, like Kuiper, Sydney, like we all got to hit that different gear. So it's like finding that gear. So it'll be interesting, but it's like, dude, we haven't even fully like done. Imagine if we're all just on that energy together, and like literally, yeah, it's just crazy, bro. Like dude, in like 2 months we're gonna have like 60 plus people. It's fucking insane. In like 3 different states, soon to be 4.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this is insane.
Yeah, I think it'll be good, and especially with how much groundwork you guys laid this year. Just going from you were at Synergy, you were doing your thing at Synergy. All of 2024, it seemed like, was pretty much just like getting your feet under you. And now that Dream Team actually has their feet under them, they're ready to go. I feel like 2025 is just going to be absolutely astronomical.
Oh, dude, it's going to be.
And the economy is going to get so much better.
Yeah, interest rates coming in.
It's going to be 2021 all over again.
My daughter.
It's gonna be great.
My daughter. Oh man, I got to make a video about this. My daughter, dude, she literally was like, "Who's Trump?" And I was just like, "Oh, sweetie, that's the president." She goes, "Where does he live?" I was like, Washington, D.C.? She goes, oh, do you work for him? And I said, I said, oh, you guys are literally going to cry. I go, no, sweetie, daddy's not that important. She goes, well, you're important to me. And I was like, like so cute. I literally almost vomited, bro.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I like being a dad, bro. That's my favorite job. But this is a second job, you know?
Well, you're dad 3 times now.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I got the new baby.
Back to back world war champions. I'm just like America, baby.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's good, man. Yeah, it's just a crazy year, dude. Yeah.
Nice. If you had, or what advice do you give to like brand new agents? They kind of want to follow in your footsteps. They are in that job world still.
See, I think my life, dude, has gotten to like a different plane. So it's like hard for me. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just like disassociate, but it's like I don't even know how to explain it. Maybe Jerry could answer that question best, but I feel like my life has gone to like really helping the OGs to like almost I have to distance myself from people now because like people judge and misunderstand me a lot. And then I'm just that guy that it's like super intense. So I'm like, like, we'll see. I guess that's the thing, right? Is like agents will join. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. And what I mean by that is like it's more of like we'll see if you're in 12 months. Like I'll be here to help you, and I'll see if you actually pursue me. But like we'll see. And so I think that's what it's turned into. I don't know. Jerry could probably answer it better. It used to be very like direct and like I'd help these OGs and
well as
and
we've grown too, you just have not as much time as you get more involved in other stuff to like handle the everyday little things. Like back in the day when there was 6 of us, you'd be like, "Oh, you have a question about paperwork? Yeah, come to my house. I'll help you."
Yeah.
But that's just not really feasible with like
and I mean
60 people.
I'd still do
but
that.
You still would, but
I think it's just too. It's like like I've done this now for like 4 or 5 years. And I've learned so much from like giving people early access or too much too soon. So I got so many good people around me, like Christina and Jerry and Dustin and Kuiper and Tyson and Sydney and blah 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 blah. So it's like you and Ellie, and so to me it's just like cool. Yeah, talk to them. Yeah, like everyone's here for you. Like the system is what it is, and they'll all help you. And so. But then you have someone like Evan or Justin or Alejandro who will be like, yo, let's go to the gym. Hey, dude, can I come hot tub? Yo, can I come hang out? Yo, can I come pick your brain? Can I take you to lunch? Can I talk to you? And so that's the kind of like relationship that I leave for these people. Like if you want the knowledge, you can ask me to hang out. Like where my fucking office is. If you want, okay, Evan, he has a desk right next to me. He talks to me about everything. He asks me questions about what he does in his life. So it's like, okay, yeah, like you want coaching. You want mentorship. And some people be like, I'm coming to the office tomorrow. And you're like, yeah, okay.
We'll see.
I'll be here. So, so it's just like, you just see who really wants it. And so I think that's what it's turned into for me. So what advice do I give? I don't give advice. Here's Christina. Here's how you onboard. Here's everyone to talk to. We'll see if you make it 12 months. That's what it's became to me.
I'd say if you're a crab and you're in the bucket right now and you feel like there's something more for you or you want more or you want different, whatever it might be, I would look around at like the 10 closest people in your life. Not your family, like not your mom and dad, but like the 10 people you work closest with right now. Are those people's life what you want? And it's okay if it is. It's okay if it's not. But if you want more or better than those 10 people, it doesn't make them bad people, just so you know. And it's not bad that you want more than them. They're the crabs you're competing with, and even though they love you and you love them, they're the crabs that are going to pull you back into the bucket because people want to be
that's the hardest
just
thing,
like
dude.
other people around them.
That's the hardest thing, dude, is because I remember when I was breaking out, my mentors would be like, you can't listen to your mom, you can't listen to your dad, and that frightened me. Oh man.
Yep.
And I was just like, what? Like these people are trying to control me. They're trying to use me. These people around me were like, they're trying to control you. They're trying to use you. But in reality, it's like, as your mom became a real estate mogul, I'm like, no. So it's like, okay, well, do you listen to your mom and dad, or do you need to listen to Pat? I'm like, I think I need to listen to Pat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, okay, well, yeah, my mom's bought 2 houses, and then she tried to flip a house, and then she lost money, but she bought this house that we inherited, and that's probably the only good thing she's done in real estate, which is great. God bless my mom. But it's like, she sucks at real estate, dude. She made one good choice, and then the rest of it, she kind of fucked up and played it safe. Okay, well, I can't really listen to my mom when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
So it's just an interesting thing, yeah.
Doesn't make them bad people either. So like that's a
and
lot
we need
of
nurses and doctors and dentists and people who work at Rosars and shit. Like we can't just have a bunch of entrepreneurs. Nothing would ever get done.
Yep. But yeah, so if you're the crab in the bucket, like find someone who's doing what you want to do, and let them actually speak like our honest, hard truths to you, because the people that are close to you that love you very rarely are going to tell you hard truths when you're just in the bucket. They're going to tell you the things that make you feel better, so that way you stop climbing out of the bucket. That's probably the hardest thing for most people. Is the hardest thing for me, being like, well, I really love my friends. I can still be, best friends with them, hang out, do everything they do, and go do all the stuff that Zach and Nick and Dustin do, which is completely different than the stuff that I was doing. But honestly, then you end up living like 2 lives, and it's not sustainable. So you just have to, it sucks, but if you want a different life, you have to start living the different life right away.
Yeah.
And then when the people from your old life try to tell you that you're being crazy or weird, or you've sold out, or you're changed or whatever, you just go, yeah, I have changed.
You should too.
Yeah, you should too. You can come with me.
Yeah, you enter this world, you're going to lose a lot of friends. And so that's another thing, there's signs to this game, and it's universal. It's not just like, oh, Zach did this or Casey did this. It's like, it's just, there's signs to it, dude. There's signs. And then you look at the signs and you see them. And it's just, it happens to everybody. And so that's another way that, it's like, cool, we'll see if you make it 12 months. We'll see if you actually lose friends. We'll see if you change. Let's see if you, don't play the status quo. It's the same thing for everybody, bro. Everyone has to go the same journey.
Yep. The comfort is going to be gone. Like, once you start on any entrepreneurial thing, like, you don't get to be comfortable anymore. Like, that was hard for me because I love being comfortable, snuggled up, watching the game. That's fun. You have to earn that, and it takes a long time to earn it. And when you just work a job, like Casey said, like you just punch the time clock, your production, whatever you do every day doesn't matter because you're getting a paycheck every day. Does not matter to you. You don't have any skin in the game. But if you want to not be in the bucket, you have all the responsibility. What you do every day is the only thing that matters. And all the people who are still comfortable are going to tell you, hey, spend your whole day watching TV with me. Spend your whole day doing this, that, or the other thing. Because they can do that because it's their day off. But your day off is actually you having to go do work.
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing coming from like a manual labor job, especially because it was like I was making $30 an hour in my manual labor job, and I hated every second I was there. But the comfort of, oh, I'm done now. I can go home. I can eat some food. I can play some video games. I can smoke some weed. I can take a nap. There is no one out there that is relying on me to do anything from now until I clock in tomorrow. I can literally just be a sack. And there was comfort in that. And it's not, I love what Diamond John says, where he's like, it's not necessarily the work that will make you rich, it's the homework that will make you rich. Like, what are you doing outside of your 9 to 5 to be able to make steps towards becoming free?
Sorry, Hunter made this chat for his birthday thing that he's doing, and he tagged Nick Michelle and nicknamed him in this chat, loves house, sleeps well, not having a midlife crisis.
Oh,
fucking
God, that's
diabolical.
amazing.
But yeah, I got to get going for this other thing, but this is fun. We should do another one.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I think we should do at least one of these a month. Like,
Yeah. to end, we're going to do our favorite Christmas movie because it is Christmas themed.
Elf.
Ooh, Elf's a good one. Elf's great.
Elf is really, really good, dude. I've been actually watching Christmas movies every day. I'd say Elf is definitely my favorite one. One that I think is underrated is what's that one with Arnold Schwarzenegger? I just watched it the other day.
The one with Jingle All the Way where he's trying to get the toy?
It's really good.
Yep.
Like, I haven't watched that since I was a kid, and then I watched that the other day with my kids, and I'm like, this is a top 3 all-time Christmas movie to me. And Arnold Schwarzenegger did awesome in that movie.
Oh, yeah. Violent Night is one of my.
Violent Night
is really good.
Actually,
if you haven't seen Violent
Night is my favorite Christmas movie ever. I take it back.
Not
Night,
one you watch
Elf.
with the kids. Elf, great for family, like with the kids.
Yes.
Violent Night after you put the kids to bed.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've not. I'm gonna have to check it
Dude,
out.
Oh,
so
no,
good.
no.
So good.
You can only see that with us now.
It's amazing.
Good shit. Well,
Okay, we'll have to watch that. We'll have to watch that together.
Oh yeah.
hell yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for sticking around Dream Team Podcast.
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell all your friends.
And go
Zach's
beyond the
gonna go take a
boundaries.
shit, and we will see you guys on the next episode.